episode 27 of Tall Boy Radio. We've had a few beers in the last episode, we're going to record another one. Seems ill-advised, but nonetheless, we're going to do it. Anyway, so this time we're starting out with another beer. What's this one? Where's the bottle? Andy, it's one you've brought, Grimbergen.
Yep, Grimbergen.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So it's another Belgian beer, you got to drink it ice cold. So this is, for me, this is a fond memory of my very first night of living in Brussels. As my boss bought me this. It's just another ale, a blonde ale that's just brilliant. It's low percentage than Pirate, 6.7, but it's just so refreshing and hoppy. Like you could literally just suck this all night. We didn't discuss like beer, or we discussed the beer emporium in the last briefly. I buy my beer from the Belgian beer shop online, so they all come from Belgium. I can't remember the town they come from, but it's a random little house, I think. So this is like €3 a bottle, so it's relatively cheap. You pay for the import, which is a bit higher, but the more you buy the better, so that's my excuse. Honestly, I recommend this beer. For me, it's the memories of just my first beer, but it's one of the rare beers you don't get in the UK.
It's not one you see often.
No. But you'll probably find 1 in 10 people will know of this beer because it's just beautiful. The Grimbergen town is just outside of Brussels as well. I never did the brewery tour, but I had to go there for my identity card of living in Brussels. And it annoyed me that I never went there. I just literally went there, got my ID card and went back. I should have gone to the brewery because it's amazing. I love it.
It's strange because I was just talking off air to Andy and I asked whether or not I'd sort of tried this, and whether I hadn't really seen it, heard it, tasted it, I don't think. And I was sort of talking to Andy and we couldn't quite remember whether or not I'd had a taste or not. And having tasted it, it's similar to the Pirat, but it's not quite as hoppy, it's not quite as heavy. It feels like it's more of a drink that you can sort of drink nice and smooth. It's not quite one that, as Andy said in a previous episode, you just sit in an English boozer and you just throw down your neck sort of thing, but obviously not quite strong, but beautiful taste. Really, and similar to the Left in terms of it being a blonde ale as such. But yeah, I don't remember having it and tasting it before. I'm surprised maybe when we went down to perhaps Belgium we didn't try it, maybe didn't have it. I can't remember if I'm honest. We may well have done. Yeah, the only one I actually genuinely remember was the Duchess, which I hated. Yeah. And then when we're sitting and we first got to the table and it was a Delirium. So they were the only two I actually genuinely remember having.
The Duchess with the Duchess, sorry, the Belgo with Duchess, Delirium, maybe a Duval, Mongozo, banana. That's pretty much it.
Did I drink the banana one?
I probably will have insisted you
taste it. Yeah.
So I don't actually. Every time we go out, you're like, oh, there's the Mongozo, the banana. I'm like, yeah, that sounds horrible to me. But
it's like the little banana sweets in it.
It's exactly like the banana. It doesn't taste like bananas. It tastes like banana sweets.
So I'm amazed that I haven't tried a Grimbergen.
This isn't in many places. I can genuinely say I rarely see this, and I go to Belgian bars in Altrincham, which is 3 or maybe 4. I never see it in any of them.
Wow.
There's always similar places, but never.
But see, I would buy it. It's interesting because I would drink that more than the Pirat that we tried in the previous episode.
I like a trip.
But I would drink that more. Whether that's because it's only 6% as opposed to 10% or whatever it is. But
we could probably do another episode on the Pirate, the normal one, which is more lemony.
We may do yet.
Well, stay tuned. But yeah, that's another beer in itself. I went for the triple hop because there's a bit more flavour. So for me, I quite like. I prefer that over the normal Pirate. But
okay, so here's a question for you then. Obviously, you brought a sample of a couple of Belgian beers. If I had to pin you down and say which was your favourite Belgian beer, what would you say?
I dare you, sir.
It's only one. It's only one. You can't have this or this or this. It's one beer, one Belgian beer.
See, on this hand, it's my first Belgian beer, excluding Stella. On the other hand, the Pirate sends me giddy into my happy place. I go for this just for the rarity. Pirate, you can normally find it in maybe 1 in 30 places in the UK, but this stuff you're not really getting in the UK.
When Andy sent through the pictures of the beers that you had ordered, I said to Kim, I guarantee he brings the Grimbergen because he loves that stuff.
Yeah. You have
See,
to.
I obviously haven't drank as many crafty beers sort of with Andy as you have, but from listening to him talk, I thought he might have brought the Pirate, and I thought you might have gone Delirium. That in my mind, that's what I thought you were bringing.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it's
a belter.
That's very really tasty.
Very
Yeah.
drinkable.
Delirium's an easy choice because it's
Is that
quite
one mainstream?
popular.
Is that quite popular? Is that
very.
So lots of people,
You'll see that the Pink Elephant around the world now. They've got if you follow the Instagram page, they obviously their own brewery, but they'll have their own bars around the world. So Argentina, the US.
Very popular in the US, Delirium.
Yeah. And that is an amazing beer in itself. And they've also got multiple strands of that. So they've got the Delirium Nocturnum, which is a darker beer. They've got the Christmas beer. And you'll find probably any style you want in the Delirium range. So that's why I went somewhat different, a bit left field, the Grimbergen, because it's not as common. A minute ago I just thought of it in, I did see it somewhere and it's left my mind already. Thanks beer. But, generally, it's hard to find. In Brussels you'll find it on tap.
Wow. I can imagine that on tap. So if it was on tap, would they still serve it effectively in 330? They wouldn't serve you pints of that, would they, from tap?
Yeah.
It'd be 330, wouldn't it?
That's the thing is with strong European beers, I think pints are a very UK thing. You don't often find them in that sort of size, do you?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. It's because they are. You drink that, a pint of that is dangerous. And the pint of the other one, which you brought, the Pirate triple hops, it's going to knock his side.
It's like a schooner. What's the equivalent of an Australian schooner or whatever? So is it like 2/3 of a pint or whatever it is?
Exactly that. Yeah. So you'll probably pay if you want a pint of that stuff, you'd be paying like 10-15 quid or something like that. So these, you generally drink them out of a specialised glass. I didn't bring any today because I thought I saw these and I was like,
TBR.
But another little secret actually is the glass makes the beer as well. So with the Pirate, you get a gold lip, and you think at the time like, oh, it's a gold lip, what's that? But actually it adds a little metallic flavour into it, and it's brilliant. So Chimay does it, which is another beer.
But I noticed was it in a previous podcast you've got the left. You got a left.
I've got quite a few. So I've got the normal left,
and you've got the Delirium glass with the trunk on the bottom,
which is angled as well.
Beautiful.
I won't tell you how I got that glass.
We stole it, basically.
Yeah, but to be fair, I did leave a bigger tip from where I borrowed it from. But so left, I got a normal left glass, the left Royale, which is. It's more fancy. It's like a wine glass. It's got a big thick trunk on it.
But the left the left glass, was that not almost like a bowl?
It's like
it's a wine glass.
It's
like a gin,
glass,
it's got a gin shape but in a wine sort of style to it. And you if you get the gold rim around it, it just gives this metallic flavour to it, and that will change it as well. So like we said in last week's episode. I've added in the cold water. Adding the metallic lip adds a bit of flavour to it as well.
Okay.
Not every beer, but most beers. The amber coloured and blondes is brilliant. Like I'll take a picture of my glass cupboard. I've got thousands.
Right.
Well, I say thousands. I got about 10.
And a couple of zeros on there. I've got 10. We've got like Foster's. I've got like a Sandwich. I've got Brony.
But I've pretty much got every glass, apart from Grimbergen, which it's not got a metallic lid, so it's just normal glass, so I didn't buy that. But Pirate, I've got a special one. Chimay, Delirium is my favourite. Like I said, it's a wine glass. It's got like an angled stem. It just looks unique.
We'll share a picture of that on social media. No doubt Andy
Yeah.
will send us a picture. We'll send it on social media. So if you follow us, Tall Boy Radio on social media, we'll see a picture of that glass. Because I tell you what, it is one of the nicer glasses
Yeah,
you can see.
and it's common.
available.
And like I said, it's multiple things. Like drinking beer, you can drink pints of Carling. It's just a general pint glass. You need the right glass shape.
Yeah.
When we get an emblem at the bottom, it makes it fizzier. But Belgian beer, you don't get that because you pour Pyrat or Grimbergen straight in that bottom of that glass. That's fizzing like a firework. And
Gets a head. Gets a nice
Exactly.
head.
What was that photo you shared on our WhatsApp group? Or did that the head literally? Yeah,
it's
literally like
that's the Pyrat
Right.
website. So
would that be as they would normally drink that then?
yeah, so in Brussels you would have say like the Delirium knife there. In Belgium, they pour the glass, they till it to 45 degrees, pour the beer in, and they'll have a scoop knife just to swipe the head off it. And there you go. And yeah, they swipe the head off it, so you don't get a massive head like the Pyrat's website was a big ice cream.
That was like a massive head,
Yeah.
literally like a massive head. So would it be more like a traditional, I suppose, in the Western world, horror phrase, sort of a Guinness head? So you would be talking like,
A
or would it
Guinness
be
is like a finger or so.
Yes, would it be more than that, or
yeah,
slightly
it's
more
normally
than that?
Probably double. But,
Right, okay.
In Heineken experience in Amsterdam, you can pull a pint. So I had a go pulling a pint out of Heineken, and it came up, you must be English because of the way I was playing. I took it as a compliment.
Have you ever worked with barman then?
I had training in the All-Sager Arms, which has now been bulldozed.
Enough said.
Since that.
You look up Stoke versus Leeds.
Yeah, 19 whatever.
All-Sager Arms.
Very famous.
Sadly,
Yeah.
somebody lost an eye.
That wasn't the best.
Wasn't pleasant, no. But yeah, I had training there. So yeah, you pull it up. So unfortunately, the English don't have a reputation for pulling pints. But just to chuck it back, because where we paused these two episodes, we've said we've paused these two episodes because we're recording two back to back about beer. But we had a conversation with our partners, Kim and Amy, who are both back there. And the house that you lived in Sandbach then, we did an episode on the paranormal. You lived there for a while. Amy's convinced it's haunted. You're less convinced.
Yeah, like I said in the paranormal episode, I'm more of a factual person. I'm less, not closed-minded, but if someone said to me like, "Oh, this happened," and then here's a proof of it. I'm like, okay, yeah. The way I looked at it is like she told me a story about when she moved in. She put a glass mirror on the fireplace, and it fell over when she was at the other end of the room. I'm like, how's it fall over? And he's like, oh well, my mum put it there. I was like, well, did she pull it away from the wall? Did she slap it against it? Well, I don't know. It's like, okay, so there's a bit of argument about that. Not argument, but there's a bit of
conjecture as to how it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
So for me, when I lived there I moved in there not long after she did, but I was probably there just over a year, and I found it so peaceful because it's a cottage house, and I'm not the smallest of persons, but when I'm outside the house, the door was a bit below my head, and I could probably touch the bedroom window. Like I was like, oh, this is fucking tiny, this is. And then like when you're in the house, it's quite a low window when you're upstairs, and you can see the churchyard because that's quite high.
Pretty much opposite the old hall, which we're looking at visiting.
Yeah, you could see the old hall.
So what would you, when you mentioned then that in terms of proof and evidence, what evidence, what proof would convince you? So if you saw something with it and in your mind you'd seen it, would that be enough evidence?
Yeah, what
would constitute? Do you need temperature change? Do you need light source? Do you need a camera with certain lenses?
Just see it in my own face. I think that'll be one thing. Bill Murray tapping on the shoulder, real.
Just Stay Puft Marshmallow. Morning, Andy.
That's good, Bill Murray. My favourite scene is Zombieland. Like,
it is one of those. Some people talk about, I've seen this, I've felt this, there was a temperature change, I felt whatever, what would constitute you moving from, in maybe a previous episode where you said, maybe not necessarily a non-believer, but I need to be convinced to actually...
Well, this is what I wanted to portray in the last, that Poltergeist episode, or the Paranormal Activity one, is not the fact that I don't believe it, is... If you felt you had that experience, I'm not going to dispute that at all. I genuinely cannot say that happened. I can't say it.
Yeah.
I need to see that for myself.
That's probably...
So if you experienced that, if you had that type of experience that me and Ken spoke about and we both experienced, and I'm sure lots of other people out there have, if that happened to you, would that be enough to shift you from A to B?
Possibly, but I'd then go down two strands of, one, is this real? Yeah, it's possible that, I've seen it, I've felt it, and, like, we all talk about how many senses we have, we see, we hear, we smell, we feel, so am I persuaded by that? The other one is my mind playing a trick? Because your mind is such a powerful thing of...
Yeah.
You talk about optical...
Illusions. Optical illusions, yeah.
Fucking hell. Cheers. Optical illusions. So like...
Your mind can play tricks on you at various things, and you think you're seeing something, but actually you're seeing something different.
Yeah. So how off camera I said about my experience of saying I thought I saw someone to my left, and my vision is very peripheral, so when I drive, for example, I can look at a road, but I'll know what the car next to me is doing, that left.
Yeah.
And most people obviously do have that situational awareness, but I like to think I pay more attention to it. I always check my mirrors, I'm like glancing. Yeah. My peripherals are quite good.
You're constantly taking stuff in?
Yeah, always. I'm always thinking and stuff like that. And I'm not saying I'm better than everyone else, I'm not saying special or anything like that, but I like to think I rely a lot on my...
You have an awareness. You have an awareness of your surroundings, of your environment, and how you interact and how that environment interacts with you.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of my mentality is based on that. So as I'm going to get older, and I know that's going to deteriorate, and you got Alzheimer's and stuff like that. So my mind's going to play tricks on me and stuff. But that's what I rely on. So in terms of paranormal stuff, I have to see it with myself. And logically, I can't take other people's words for it, because like I said, the brain is such a powerful thing. No one can prove what you're capable of. Like I get deja vu at least twice a week of, in my dreams I could, something happened, and when we discussed it last week, well, we did actually, it was last week.
It was last week, yeah.
I was cutting the grass, not pretty much that same day, and I was talking to my neighbour about ABC. I actually had deja vu in that conversation, in thinking, when I was in my dreams the night before, I was actually cutting the grass, and I was saying, oh, blah, 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 and there's literally word for word in that same thing, and then it's, on the one hand, it's like, well, did I deja vu that, or did my mind actually say, well, you didn't really dream that, but you thought you did, and it's like, I can't prove it. That's why I don't fall.
So for you, it's very clear. You need that empirical, if that's the right word. You need that proof, that very nuts and bolts evidence. So if somebody said to you, so take my very personal experience, or Ken's from previous episode, where we feel as though we've seen something. If somebody was to say, okay, you think you've seen that, but as well as that, we have a light change, a heat change, a motion on that
scientific evidence.
So if we had that, and is that more where you are at in terms of bloody hell? No way! That's a first, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Genuinely, you're the first. Me and Adam have finished a beer before Andy. To be fair, he is speaking on this episode
Yeah,
more than he has done.
And he's not drinking gin and Vimto.
So would that be more where you're from? You think you've seen it, but as well as that, or maybe seen and felt it,
Yeah, I have
as
seen
well
myself,
as that, you
could-
have the evidence to back it up.
You
into
could tell me that bottle's brown. Until I physically see it, I won't believe it.
Well, just to share a story then.
Oh, no,
Go on. You
Sorry,
talk.
I will accept you've seen that as brown.
Yeah, but you might
I
not.
need to see it.
Yeah, you need to see
that's,
that as well.
That's the way social media is now, in the sense that everything's on camera, it's on video, or whatever. You could Google something and you find it, but you know when you see like Google paranormal activity, 20 people could be in. I've seen that. I believe that. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but I personally haven't seen that.
Yeah.
You filmed it, but it's like you can edit videos and stuff like that.
True.
Yeah, and I suppose that's where
point.
you're in the realm of this 21st century in terms of the technology, in terms of you can edit it, you can superimpose things, you can add things, you can take things away.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's the point where, and I was a bit similar in a way to that, but having had, and obviously in a previous episode I've spoken about this quite a lot. I've been in a position where I have felt something, I've seen, or I feel as though I've seen something or felt something.
I'm going to trick something out there because we talked offline. I'm going to bring it online. It's a nice, should be a nice fruity one. In terms of what we talked about in experiences of things, so Ken talked about sleep paralysis, and you talked about sleep paralysis. Obviously, very personal.
That's one of my fears. I'll take
It
before
was
you
horrible.
mentioned it.
It was horrible.
In our last house in Meads Road, Kim had it almost on a weekly basis where she would wake up and every night when she went to sleep she would hear voices speaking to her, like a myriad of voices saying
Voices that
things.
she could recognise.
No, interesting you say that. Voices she
Wasn't
didn't-
mum,
No.
dad, aunt, uncle,
No.
grandparents.
voices she didn't know. And since we've been here, which as you know is a new build, new
Yeah.
house, nobody's ever lived here before, so I like the
It's
fact
got a
that
Cherokee burial ground.
No.
There's none of that. We checked the deeds.
Yeah, that's it. I've seen Poltergeist and all that way. But the next, if you live here after us, we're the voices going to haunt you. But, she lived in a house. I'd be interested in a big Grace take on this. Obviously, we bought our house, our last house, previous to this one, off your dad.
Spotlights.
Yeah, and the spotlights and everything else. And chose
The
to
calendars.
That's not the calendars.
Previous one, not a separate podcast.
Naked calendars for another episode. So and when she fell asleep, she would hear voices in her head every single night for the 7 years that we lived there.
Every night.
Every night, without fail. She would try and get to sleep. It took her ages to get to sleep because she'd hear people speaking and she couldn't. She'd make out the odd word, which Ken spoke about, and until I played that back to her, she said, "I actually haven't experienced that since we've moved here."
And I've had to check there. So when I heard that, I was like, "Fuck." But secondly,
Kim, come on.
I know Kim, and she won't lie about that shit. So it's like, so to me, that's one strand that this has happened, blah blah blah. But I need to see it for myself. You know what I mean? That's my thing.
This is
right?
the one.
So could you
I'm
not-
going to chuck one thing in there, just if you don't mind me interjecting. I'll chuck one thing in there because, like you, Andy, I'm a skeptic. And there's one thing. When I used to set Matilda down to bed at night, and one thing Matilda has done in our old house that Jacob has never done in this one, she would stare off like she was looking at something. We'd take Matilda down to bed, take her up to her bedroom, sit there, and she would stare off. And then every now and then she'd go like this and wave to somebody else, right? Now, let me finish.
I'll tell you another story, right?
Okay, and she'd wave, she'd wave, right? And one night I got sick of it, and I said, because she was looking at somebody else, and she would wave, and I found it very, very peculiar. And they say children are more in tune to these sort of things. So at one point I said, "Can you go now? I'm trying to put my child down to sleep. I want you to stop this."
So you believe him?
Yeah, I'm not disputing it.
Because you spoke to that.
Yeah, but at that point, Matilda burst out crying like somebody had vanished in front of her. And it was the weirdest thing. I've got hair standing up on my arm as I'm saying it.
So that's it
It
then.
was peculiar.
So
because
that's it then.
She reacted to
And it's weird. Couple of things I'll pick you up on. A, what you just said there, Andy, in terms of you've got no reason to doubt that what Kim said she thought she saw, she heard, she felt was true.
Kim's not bullshit.
So therefore, is that not enough to convince you that the stuff?
No, this goes back
and
to
secondly,
my mind thing.
I'll just come and you. When we were living in the house that we lived in, actually 2 houses before where we live now, in our first family house, which was Golfridge Drive. And I remember putting Amy down, who's my eldest, she's 15 now, and she would look literally like through me as though she was looking at somebody else, like genuinely. And we had a couple of creaks and stuff, and we used to laugh and joke and call the creaks sort of Derek the dead person. That was who he was. It was Derek the dead person. If we heard a creak, we heard something about, oh, there's Derek just popping in saying hello, sort of thing. But I lost track of the number of times that either myself or Jenny, my wife, would put Amy down, and she would literally be like not looking at me. She'd be like looking, like focused, fixated on something either to my left, right, or not me. And I'm like trying to put her down. It literally was like, and you were like, and there were a couple of times you sort of went.
It's regular.
What's there, sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Because Jacob's never done it. We're living here, nobody's ever lived here before. Jacob has never done it, not once. Tilda used to do it every other night. It was weird.
This is what I want you guys to not think I'm a disbeliever or whatever. Even.
There's nothing wrong with not believing.
No, it's fine. Because if you're a disbeliever,
I need proof.
I'm not trying to convince you. Being a disbeliever is that's absolutely fine.
What my point is though is that I can't disprove that, but I can't prove it.
Yes.
Until you've experienced it.
Exactly.
And that's very personal. Yeah.
And like I said right at the start of the last episode was that I do believe in the Chinese thing of saying like everyone has this chi, which is your soul. You live, you die, you go back to the earth, and then you come back. You can be whatever you want to be, or not whatever you want to be, but come back.
That's
the
reincarnation, energy type sort of.
Yeah, it's not totally. I don't believe in reincarnation in the sense that you.
Is that not an energy thing though?
Yeah, an energy. Yeah. So I don't believe you. Like I believe plants have an energy, a tree has an energy,
but a human can't.
What?
So
no. I believe like say like now me. So I could die tomorrow. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'd like to think my energy would go back to the earth, and then it would be.
Can that not be reborn in a person?
Well, that's very much
a tree.
So if if that's reborn in a person, is that not reincarnation?
I suppose it is reincarnation, but
that's
I
what
think it's more energy.
That's what the Buddhists believe, though. In terms of the life force that which you generate, if you can live to that middle road that they talk about, you can be reborn as a human being, and hopefully, you can achieve enlightenment.
Yeah.
If you don't live to that path, then you're going to be reborn as a lower being. Do I buy into that? No, I do. I'm fascinated by Buddhism. I do think it's the closest thing to.
Well, I remember years ago. You were almost to the point where you became a Buddhist. Almost. You were like
because we're both bold who believe this.
Yeah.
And it's fat, so you're Buddhist.
That's Bubai. That's a very different thing. Bubai is the Buddhist fat.
I don't want to believe in the reincarnation. I don't like the reincarnation word, but the energy, I think. So reincarnation to me is like an animal, an insect, a human, but the energy, chi, is a plant, a tree, or a human.
I remember watching like a Bruce Lee. And he called it chi power, and that was it was like chi power, and that was
a Chinese thing.
Yeah, and that was the whole sort of you die. I'll say reincarnate. You don't like that word. I think it's a word that it sort of suits, but
it's a Western word that
fits
it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a happy medium in terms of where you're coming from, where I'm coming from, in as much as it's a word that Western society has maybe attached to a 1,000-year belief from a different religion, culture.
Yeah,
does that,
it's
do you know what I mean?
a language thing as well.
Yeah.
Not that I speak Chinese, but
I can count to
I could come
10.
back as a hop and come back at this. And
I can count to 10 in. Was it Mandarin or something?
Mandarin, yeah. We were taught to do that at college. I tell you what, this episode is going to be interesting to listen back to, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So we've gone from beer to.
Yeah.
Anyway, Adam, we haven't spoken about your beer yet.
Yeah, very true. Go on, I made my notes. Hang on a minute. So this is made by Dry and Bitter, which is a Danish company, and it's called Dank and Juicy, which Hal came up earlier. Again, it's an IPA. It is 6.2%. Retails for £5.56, or maybe slightly more if you buy it from a retailer in the UK. It's got 11,386 ratings on Untapped, and ranks around about 3.73. How are we finding this one?
Like it.
Well, you can see by the colour, it's decent because it's not opaque. Well,
No, it's a West Coast
It's
IPA.
quite cloudy actually.
Yeah, exactly. Hazy.
That might be because we're drinking different beers out the same glass.
No. It's supposed to be.
It is quite cloudy.
I like labels that
Splash
spill
everywhere.
everywhere, but it's a simple silver can and you got a label printed on it.
Yeah, which is I think it's a Chevy Eldorado.
Chevy, yeah.
Or
That's a Chevy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's an Eldorado, personally. I could be wrong.
I wouldn't know the model, but it looks Chevy.
But, it's all about presentation.
Mm.
So hopefully I'll get my mate Clive. His brother works for a Tatton Brewery, a local brewery, so I'm trying to get both of them on.
Yes.
And one obviously is a master brewer for Tatton Brewery. The other guy is like me, we just drink a lot of shit.
And he does a lot of artwork for beer cans.
He's
doesn't he,
honest, yeah. His artwork is ridiculous. So my mate Rick's bar, he drew the pink elephant in the bar, and not that a lot of people don't know, but him and my cousin Helen as well, they're both very artistic. So if I can get both of them on and do some labels,
Yes.
brilliant.
Yeah. Actually, I'll try and get Chris and Pete. 100% they'll come on. Chris has already said he'll come on, and he, I think, will bring a different flavour to the beer. We had the Barrington Park, which is where me and Adam live. We had our first annual summer party, whatever it's called.
We did last year.
Adam, to be fair, had you were there for about what, 2 or 3 hours maybe, or whatever.
Yeah,
I was there for, let's just say, fractionally longer.
I'd experienced the joy of a kid's party.
Yes,
before.
yeah. I was trying to think of a polite way to say that.
Pre-kids. So.
Your kids. And it was Chris.
I had kids at the time. I wasn't coming spacey in.
Chris sort of said to me, he said, "Oh, do you like cider?" And I was a bit like, "Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, I like it. It's not something I drink loads." He went, "Oh, I've got some apples." I was like, "Oh, it sounds okay." And he proceeded to bring out these 3 litre sort of containers of things like this. Bloody hell, this is nice. And then 2 or 3 hours later, I'm pretty much falling off my stool, sort of thing. And it's like, those apples are going well for it.
I got some experience in this area as well. So my cousin's boyfriend Clive, his brother works as a master brewer in Tatton. He makes Big Hand cider.
Yes.
I don't know if I've given you a bottle.
I have tried Big Hand cider. I've met the guy that's inspired.
Yeah, well,
after
we've
as
met him
well,
all the time, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I used to pick apples with him. So we'd go to this Quetzal, I think it is, isn't it? On the way to Delamere Forest. Kelsall, I think it's
Kelsall, yeah.
So
Kelsall,
as you come off of 556, you go back over it. There's an apple farm there, and we used to pick 3 tons of apples. So it'd be I think it's not St Mary's, but aim of the table is there's the 3 varieties of apples anyway, and they're all different juiciness. So he used to make this big hand cider, and honestly, it's like scrumpy. It's like this sort of colour.
It was lethal.
Yeah,
It was
really
lethal.
good. It's probably about 4 or 5%, so it's not dead high. It's not dead low. But
Felt
beautiful,
stronger.
really strong flavoured apple, really
But
sweet.
Tell us why it was called Big Hand Cider.
So one of my good friends, what do you call him, T2? His brother is called Jack, and he's probably like a little bit shorter than me, but his hands are like probably bigger than mine.
Wow.
And
It's
they're like,
ridiculous.
yeah.
They're twice the size of a normal hand. It's
he's
so
a farmer,
peculiar.
so he's like,
Needs to be a gynecologist.
No, that's the last thing he needs to do. That's the last thing he needs to
if you meet him, you wouldn't even need to know him. You just go around Knutsford or where he's like, oh, who are you? But I'm Jack. I've got big hands. He'd be like shoveling
God,
really
really
stuff.
great.
Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Just
he could
crazy.
milk a cow with 2 fingers.
I remember we so
There's the trailer right there. You can milk a cow with 2 fingers.
It'd be like a tea in between.
so we went to we had the party as such, and Chris was like, got these apples, alright, so I'm carrying on drinking, and I had like a fridge of like 24 bottles of Borden, 24 bottles of Moretti and whatever, various, and I was like, yeah, I'll just carry on drinking these sort of thing. And it got to stupid o'clock, and so the party wrapped up and Adam sort of said his goodbyes, and we went back to Chris and Gemma's, and there was sort of 4 or 5 people there, and you speak to Gemma, my wife, and she was like, yeah, you're embarrassing, you know, literally it's like, you slur your words, you can't speak, you're rolling around in your chair, and I was like, well, I've been drinking whatever percent cider for 10 hours, you know, give me a break, you know, I've done okay to get you, you know what I mean? But Chris would quite happily, and Pete would quite happily come on and talk, similar to what we've done tonight, and we'll do a different episode in terms of maybe cities that they particularly have stories about, or beers that they have stories of, but they 100% would come on and talk about their beers, so they'll do
Ciders are definitely another episode, because
100%.
yeah, I'm not massive cider. Don't get me wrong, I've gone through the Magners phase where you should go and sit in a beer garden if it's nice and sunny and you have some ice in your glass and you'd have Magners and stuff, and then you'd be like, oh my god, this is mint.
Well, if we do another one of this just on cider, I'll recommend Rattler, which is Healy's, and Weston's, which is, so Rattler's like 5.2% or smaller, and it's very cloudy, it's just flat, it's not fizzy. The Weston's is like 8.something%, and it's beautiful. And it's fizzy, but oh my god, like I'm working from home at the minute, I'm just like, boom, see you later boys. Like, I just sip a bit, I'll pass out of that. Oh, this is heaven. And I had a bit of sun because I'm very pale, but as you can see. But yeah, this cider is brilliant.
Yeah.
But cider's like beer, where you got different strands. You got cloudy, non-cloudy, scrumpy, not scrumpy, fizzy. Like my dad used to drink Diamond White.
Diamond
White,
White,
yeah. It was rancid.
Valentino's back in the day, wasn't it?
In Stoke.
Yeah.
I never went there, but he used to go there all the time. He goes, oh yeah, I went there and drank Diamond White. Like, effing rancid, but
That was only open for 11 years, Valentino's.
Really?
That's a long time.
What childhood that was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were there for it.
Yeah, pretty much. Chevy Drive.
Yeah.
Chevy.
What's that now? Like a sofa shop or something?
No, it's a
No, it's a casino.
casino.
It's,
To be fair, guys, it's still
Too
there.
far, still going there. Is it Genting or Genting? Genting Casino?
I don't know. Genting.
Although I think, and this is sort of quite sad, and I sort of get why they've done it as a business decision, but so I've heard, and I hope it's wrong, Genting Casino, if you're listening or watching.
We love Genting in London, so
we do. I lose lots of money there. I fall asleep in there.
I make money there.
Slept in there. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they said they were going to close their card room, because card rooms generally don't make money, but they're a bit of a lost leader. So yeah, the card room might not make money, but people that play cards then go onto tables and then go onto the slots and they make money elsewhere. And I'm sure one of the guys that I play poker with in an online thing said that Genting Stoke were going to close their card room, which is a little bit of a shame. Grosvenor, which is a little bit further down, I'm not sure what they're doing, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame that is, because I always find it's a bit of a lost leader.
It's Genting on the right, so you come off.
You go up towards you go up the hill and it's on the right.
That was Valentino's.
Yeah, Valentino's, yeah.
Yeah, so that's same place. Same place.
Yeah.
So it's up there on the right, and
should be gone there.
so I have been there. Well, countless times, and it's a bit of a shame if they do lose the card room, because I've always had good times in there and enjoyed the company of the various poker players and stuff. That's another sort of bit of a hobby of mine, sort of golf and beer.
Losing money.
Losing money in cards, yeah. I'm not very good. I just enjoy losing my money. Which is why I think, in a strange way, I quite like to go to Vegas, just because you can jump in a card game and it costs you like $20 or $30, but then if you're gambling, you can drink for now. So it's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, fold. Drink, please.
Well, we don't have experience that, but someone does. But
I love Vegas, but I don't gamble.
Well, no, you don't gamble, and that's
you
don't do it at all. Do you not do slots or anything?
You must
Kim
know
does
Vegas,
slots, doesn't she?
Kim's played slots, won money. Kim's played roulette in Vegas, won money.
Do you not do roulette?
No, Kim's played roulette in Vegas and won money. I just don't
you
gamble.
just snooze on the chair.
No, I have the free beer.
But how do you get free beers if you're not gambling, you see?
Stand next to it. Sit like having a beer.
Yeah. Oh, you see, yeah, I like it, mate.
I'm all for the freebies. I'm not for losing
money.
money. Exactly.
I remember
so I'm still stupid for letting them do it.
I remember one of the lads from years ago, a guy called Paul Adams, nicknamed Mongo, and he Mongo, honestly great guy, and he recounted this tale of, because he used to quite like sort of gambling and stuff, and he'd play a bit of poker, and he said he never guessed what. I was like, what's that? He went, if you go to Vegas and you're gambling, drinks are free. I was like, really? No, not knowing back in the day, not knowing really that was the case. He was like, yeah, if you're gambling, drinks are free. I was like, what? Any drink or soft drink? He went, no, anything you want. I was like, excuse my French. I was like, fuck off. He's like, no, honestly. So he said, I'd buy into this $20 tournament, poker tournament. So for $20 you get 5,000 chips or whatever. And he went, fold, beer please. And he'd be like, next second, fold, beer please. And he said he got absolutely, like, just paralytically pissed for like $20 just because he sat at a table and he's just...
The sad thing is now, corporations obviously, you had the good old day, the mafia days of Vegas, but now the corporations are taking over Vegas, and now you earn it by the amount of time you're sat at the table, so you can't just do that anymore. So you've been there a couple of hours, that's where you get a tab.
Really?
Yeah. It's disappointing because that's what Vegas...
Because that story to me was like amazing. I was like, go on, man. He's like, yeah. And they recounted the story about the sort of little old lady that he saw, and he was obviously on a poker table. This little old lady had a stool at one of the slots and had like a bucket of whatever they were, the American like equivalent of like 10 pence sort of thing. She'd go like... And she'd be like, drink please, sort of thing, and literally she'd sit there for like hours getting absolutely happily pissed on a bucket of like £10 worth of 10 pences, and literally every like 30 seconds she'd be like, thank you, I'm gambling, nobody can tell me I'm not, I'm gambling, and bless her.
Don't forget that Vegas always wins. That's
I'm sure, yeah.
Unless
I go there, in which case I'm going to win.
No, it's a multi-billion-pound industry.
Oh, house wins, as I say, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
No matter where you are. So when we go Genzing in London, the same place is like...
I always lose. Once in...
I can remember you left what, 500 quid up once.
Yeah, one year was very good. Yeah, very good.
In that, if you think of that time period though, like you spent money, you've earned money. Sandwiches have come around, drinks come around. Like, I remember we went maybe it was my first year with the NFL. We had sandwiches and beers and Halloween cocktails and stuff like that.
Yes.
Was that Genting then?
That was Genting.
Yeah, we always go to the same
place.
Genting.
I always say we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there. Where's Genting? Oh, it's just around here.
If you want to sponsor us,
Chinatown.
If you want to sponsor us, Genting, we're okay with that.
Yeah, we've paid you enough.
Definitely paid you enough.
But no, it's a nice venue because you go. There's the first half of it's not even a card game we play, but there's a lot of Asian players playing this. Not 21s, but
it's
what game it is.
No, I don't know. But you go up there and there's 3 or 4 tables. And they're all playing it, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
They got blackjack and roulette, which is what we play.
Yeah, so you got blackjack, roulette,
and
actually, to be fair though, Genting in wherever it is in London, just off Chinatown.
I think it's near Piccadilly, isn't it?
Wherever it is. Wherever it is. There's probably 2 different places, but from memory, I can't remember a massive card school. So there's no poker. There's no. Do you know what I mean? I think it's all roulette, blackjack, a couple of slots. But then I can't for life remember what this game is.
No, I remember we walked past it and you're like, oh, they're playing this. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah, and I can't for life I genuinely don't know what it's called now.
But roulette.
But it was like dead popular. That obviously like loads of money going and stuff on
thousands.
Thousands. And one story actually, it wasn't Genting actually, but years ago. I don't know if we retold the story previously, but I went into a casino and we were playing roulette, and obviously the odds of hitting a single number are 36 to 1, something like that. And the croupier deal, or whatever you call it, they'd spin the disc and then they'd send the ball around, and then they would say basically in the same sort of sequence, place your bets, no more bets, hands off the table. And as soon as it's hands off the table, that was it. So I remember going back in the day and place your bets, no more bets, hands off the table. And just as they said hands off the table, this Chinese lady slid, and I'm not even joking, so she slid $100 or £100 chip onto a single number. And you're thinking, like, you're betting like £100 on a single number at like 36 to 1 or whatever, 35 to 1, 36 to 1. And the single number hit. And I remember the croupier going, and he looked up at the pit manager, and the pit manager is the guy that oversees 2 or 3 different tables, and the pit manager went, shook his head. So the croupier dealer guy sort of slid the £100 chip. I was betting with like 50 pence chips at the time, and she's betting with £100. So £100 chip on a single one. Slid it back to this Chinese lady. Oh my god, did she kick off? Like literally, it was like I expected like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis would come by like fighting and stuff, and it's just like horrendous because she kicked off. Because she thought she got £100 at 36 to 1, which was like $3.5 grand or whatever it was. Yeah. Anyway, about 2 minutes later, they all security guys sort of come bowling up, and they took this woman back to the back in the management area. Obviously, they've got cameras and stuff. And so it transpired, she didn't place the bet in time, and effectively she just got recounted her $100, so she didn't win the bet because it was too late. Yeah. But you thought, like, literally like fraction of a second. So she'd have literally placed it like a fraction of a second. Rough. But to be fair, £100, if you can afford to bet £100 at 36 to 1, you can probably afford to lose it, type thing. Yeah. But I remember in that moment, you're thinking, that's like $3.5 grand or something.
Big sound.
Horrendous.
Well, that's what you get. You got what you put down, what you win, and to her that was probably.
But that's why when I bet, effectively it would go 2 pockets. It's like that's drink money, food money, whatever. That's what I'm going to bet with. and once that's gone, don't dip into there. And I've done it before, and Adam will tell you. I've done it before. Now he's seen me walk to that cash machine and go, yeah, I'll take out another couple of £100. And Jenny, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Take out another couple of £100. You know what I mean? But you
calculate spending money.
But ultimately, you sort of.
And he's won it all back.
But you do sort of try to calculate. Okay. And nobody likes losing, but okay, if I lost that, so be it.
We're going to pause it now. We're going to pause it. We're going to have a toilet break. And when we come back, we're going to have a beer and Moretti, which is Gaz's favourite beer. And we're going to have some Carolina Reaper peanuts. Yeah?
You might.
No, we will. Welcome back to part 2 of the Drunken episodes. Let's just call that the Drunken episode, because that's about where we're at, aren't we? Gaz, tell us about the beer that we've got now.
So the beer we've got is beer and Moretti. I love beer and Moretti. It's my favourite everyday drink. It's a drink that I first discovered a number of years ago, and actually when I first discovered it, it was on tap, and I think it was at something like Timperley or Warrington Cricket Club or something, and it was on tap, and it was lovely. But subsequently found it in terms of bottles. Love it. It's
Carry on.
Just thought you'd interject with the Carolina Reaper peanuts.
Yes.
Have you just smelt them, tasted them?
I smelt them, they smell hot.
They do smell hot, didn't they? So, love Moretti. As I say, everyday beer. It's 4.6%, something like that. So not too strong, but it's slightly stronger than what you would class as your average sort of quaffable drink in terms of, as Andy said in previous episodes, of your typical Carling or Budweiser or whatever. So a little bit of punch to it. Love it. It's not quite as fizzy as your traditional sort of lagers, your Carling, your Bud and stuff. So I think this is a definite quaffable drink. I think you can drink loads of it. I do drink loads of it. I love it as an everyday go-to beer. So.
Well, we've had a slight break and we've stolen some pick and mix from the girls. But one thing else we have to enjoy is the Carolina Reaper peanuts. So, Gaz isn't too pleased about it. We might see some ectoplasmic residue.
Really? Honestly, I'm really not looking forward to this at all.
We're going to try them. We're going to try the peanuts, because this is like level 1 of what we're going to be doing on.
It's hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this is level 1, yeah, good night. It's good though.
Oh, good lord.
Actually, that's not too bad.
See? That's hot.
I could do more of that. That is hot, but I could do more.
Go for it.
Not today, but
Actually,
that's not as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
What about 4 or 5 then?
actually, no, it's the aftertaste.
Yeah, it builds up.
Oh, that's shit. That's quite bad. That.
That's got a kick.
I quite like that in a chicken wrap or something, I think.
Oh, no. I've had 4 or 5. Go on.
I've had 1.
Jesus Christ, that's hot.
Cheers, Bill.
Yeah, cheers, Bill. Happy birthday.
You made me cry. I don't even
My lord. Just for the record, here's my 47th birthday today that we're recording this. Oh my Christ almighty! That's insanely hot. That is insanely hot.
Wow, I had 1 up.
You know, I've had 4. I literally had a handful. I had 4 or 5. So you need to step up.
I'm not stepping up to that.
Come on. Oh my Christ.
I've wiped my eyes. Oh no.
Dude.
What are these on the Scoville?
1 million, something like that.
There's 6 on the heat level of chilies there.
What do you say we pause it? See if Kim and Amy
Yeah.
get involved? Do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I wiped my eyes again. Oh.
Is that...
God.
Is that dude.
I think it's that one. No. Someone's kicking me.
Ooh! No way am I doing that.
So we're back. We're going to record
There you are. Okay.
Amy, who's Andy's partner, Kim, who's my wife, Ethan,
No, I
and
just
Caroline are Rico
Why would
nuts.
I do that?
Do it.
Do it.
No, I can't. My tongue's burning. I just licked it. Go on.
Do it.
Do it. Oh, Amy is brave.
Oh, go on, Kim. Oh my god, what have you done? What have you done?
Quite nice, actually.
No, you'll say that now.
Wait, it's insanely hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It's quite nice.
Oh god. Wow, it's hot.
I'll be honest, that was worse when I licked it.
Andy, bring them over.
No. I had a second one. I have a second one,
nice.
then I'll come over.
You've got the
No,
nuts over there.
It's not like
There.
Right.
Oh no, hang on a minute. I don't know about a
Yeah,
second
just
one.
wait a minute. Just wait.
Oh, it's down the throat.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I can feel it a bit more as it, like, now it's gone.
No, you.
No, I'm not doing another.
You got to do 2. I did 2. I'm the palest.
Hey, look, because you're saying it's totally fine. I'm
I'm not saying it's totally fine. I can feel it more burning on the end of my tongue. Like,
Wow.
When the air gets
Wow.
to it, it's worse.
These are like the mildest ones that we have available.
When are you doing this?
We're not.
I'm not.
No time soon. No time soon.
What do you mean when you do this?
They've got a challenge of hotter than that one's.
Oh, what?
Whoa! Oh, it really builds, doesn't
This,
it?
these are the mild.
Do a second one.
It
Do a
really
second one.
builds.
Do a second one,
No, I can't do a second one.
please.
I've done. Honestly, I've
No,
done a second one.
I do feel
I
like
did
my
a
tongue's
handful.
getting
It's
a bit
bad.
hotter.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend the second one.
Oh, dude, what are you doing?
I didn't say.
Oh, my nose is running. Oh, that's bad.
Ridiculous. How can you do
Guys,
one?
we're going to have to take these away because he's going to keep doing that.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Just.
Fucking hell, can I do one?
You don't want too bad.
It's a
Oh,
burn.
it's bad. Oh,
It is burning.
How many did you have, guys?
2.
It's like there. I feel like it's
I rubbed it in
burning.
my eye there, that's the problem.
You're not going to do that.
No,
Em, you seem to be totally fine with it.
she isn't.
I am, but I'm not.
Have one more.
No,
One more.
no.
They're
I think
Carolina Reaper.
Because at the minute it's just satisfied.
I did 2. I'm
Really?
the
I did
biggest
2.
guy in the
It doesn't
world.
matter about how pale you are.
To be fair, I did a handful.
Yeah,
So
I've done like 7.
No one likes to show off.
I might need this.
I think this is wicked blue. Another one each, and that's it. You can go.
Oh my
Go
god,
watch.
it's hot.
You can go watch whatever you're watching. Like
Seriously?
High School Musical 3, whatever it was.
Hardcore.
I can't even believe I'm doing it. I'm only doing it because you did it.
You've taken it way better than we have. It's ridiculous.
I wasn't it like, it burns, but
No, it burns a lot.
Yeah.
But this,
Just wait until that kicks in.
no,
Right?
the difference is sober.
Yeah.
And a
yeah.
bit to drink.
No, my eyes are killing me.
That one felt a bit hot.
That one actually felt fine for me, that one. That my mouth doesn't feel any hotter than the first. I could do a third.
Go on.
I ain't.
They're actually alright.
The do
That
taste
first
nice.
one really burnt. There's
Is
quite
that-
a nice,
Have a
like,
sip of
They're not
something.
alright.
there's quite a nice little sweetness to them.
Thanks. Straight up bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that social distancing?
medicine, isn't it?
Yeah, but alcohol's.
That's
relaxing.
killed everything. That's
Oh, you have it in glasses.
everything I've got has killed. Oh god, that hurts.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I think they're fine now.
No. Yeah, dude. Good luck with the insanely hot ones.
Oh, you.
My mouth isn't getting any hotter now. Of the way.
Seriously?
There's quite a nice, like, caramelised.
Yeah, I know what you mean on that flavour.
Yeah.
No.
I should have eaten some more pick and mix.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's pick and mix.
It's insane.
They're hot. They're ridiculously hot.
They are spicy.
They
my
are.
Mouth, my mouth is on fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But quite nice as well.
Mm.
Oh, we look so gay.
They're hot. Really
And
hot.
on that note, until next time, when no doubt we'll have more stuff to talk about. Take care.